Peace, love, and light, everyone. I hope all is well. This is your girl, Serena, and welcome to another segment of poetry, publishing, and literary artistry. With this segment, we are going to learn about Pantoum poems. Yes. So with these segments, you'll learn about poetry, hear poetry, learn about tips about self-publishing and all things with literary artistry. So today we're going to uh, stop and do a timeout so we can learn about Pantoum poems. People are probably like, "What is a Pantoum?" So Pantoums are one of 50 plus forms of poetry. There are over 50 forms of poetry out there in the world that we know of. And Pantoums to me are a lot of fun. I really have a great time creating Pantoum poems. So I wanted to share with you how, and then I'm going to share with you what a Pantoum poem looks and sounds like. So Pantoums are broken down into four-line stanzas. For those who don't know what a stanza is, just think of a small paragraph, okay? So you have one, two, three, four lines, and there's a break, and then you start the next. And some people may think paragraph in the poetry world is stanzas. So you start with the first stanza, and it's your first four lines of creation, right? So with that second stanza, what is it going to look like? Is it going to do you get to just write what you want to write? In a way you can, but in a way no. So the second stanza is the second and fourth line from the first stanza is now the first and third line. So people can also refer to them as verses. So we have verses, stanzas, or paragraphs. However, you're going to grasp this, okay? So the third stanza, again, we're taking the second and fourth line from stanza two, and it is now the first and third line of this stanza. So there are the two lines that are the free lines, I call them, is where you can create. But two lines in every stanza you have is going to come and you're going to pull it from the last stanza. It's a poetic dance of alternating the second and fourth lines to be your first and third until you are done with the poem, right? Pantoum poems can be short, they could be long, as you know, it's up to you. You're the poet, you're the writer. And most or some Pantoum poems rhyme, but some don't. Don't worry about that right now, okay? We're going to talk about rhyming later because rhyming is a whole different form of poetry. So you get to develop the rhythm with your Pantoum. Now, I'm not going to leave you there, okay? Because people are like, please don't end the segment, okay? Because I'm confused. So we're going to actually look at a Pantoum poem. So here is an example. This actually comes from my book, Artist Paradise, Pieces of Life, Volume 3. And this Pantoum poem is called Visually Speaking. Now you see where I have the highlights. So the highlights in the first stanza, you see in the second stanza, that's where they show up. And then so on and so forth. So I'm going to read and I will point out where for the other two stanzas. Creativity lit like forest fires. Brush vigorously dances along my canvas, energized by the thoughts that are shooting through my brain. Paint rains down like a pouring storm. So here's stanza two. Remember, second and fourth from the first stanza are now the first and third line in the second stanza. Brush vigorously dances along my canvas. Radiant colors of red, yellow, magenta, and turquoise blue. Paint rains down like a pouring storm, representing the season I'm stepping into. So here we go. The first line in the third stanza is now from the second stanza. And also the fourth line from this the second stanza is now the third line. Radiant colors of red, yellow, magenta, and turquoise blue. hoping to inspire lives stroke by stroke, visually captivating minds, representing the season I'm stepping into. The artistic phoenix is rising within me as my painting takes on a story. So here's stanza 4. Let's see if you could catch the lines. Hoping to inspire lives stroke by stroke, visually captivating minds. Vibrant colors turn into people running through a galaxy. The artistic phoenix is rising within me as my painting takes on a story. People dancing amongst the stars, liberated by diving into their passions. Okay, so stanza 4, you see, hoping to inspire live stroke by stroke. That first line came from what? The second line from the last stanza. And then we have the third line, the artistic phoenix is rising within me, came from the fourth line of the last stanza. So it's a patterned poem. Okay, so think of Pantoum patterns. And this poem is actually dedicated to the visual arts. That's why you have visual artists up here. And one is actually my friend, Ricky Johnson Atkins. She's to the right. She's painting, and she actually painted the cover of my poetry book, Artist Paradise, and also The Awakening. Those are her paintings. So that is a Pantoum poem. All right. So I might come back later and do this again with another poem. But yeah, try it out. It's fun. It's fun. And a recap, the second and fourth line from stanza 1, it kicks it off, right? That's the kickoff. And that second stanza, first and third. So we have 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3. And you go on and on until the poem says no more and you're done. All right. So I love Pantoum poems, if you can't tell. But yes, come back. Check me out here, poetry, publishing, literary artistry, here on the Indie Soup Media Network. That is my time for today. If you love what you heard, check me out on my social media platforms, Divine Right, DIVINEWRYTE, and also go to my website, serenawills.com, SERENAWILLS.com, and stay tuned for this workshop. This comes from a workshop where I work with people for an hour and a half plus, and we have a whole workshop on Pantoum poems. So stay tuned for just announcements on workshops. And that is it. So thank you all. Take good care. Hope you learned a lot, enjoyed learning about Pantoum poems, and one love. I'm out. Bye for now.